Picture this: a hall filled with bright lights, cameras flashing, and an eager audience waiting to hear Prince Harry speak at the WellChild Awards in the UK. Known for its heartwarming mission of celebrating seriously ill children and their caregivers, the event was supposed to be a dignified and emotional moment. Instead, it spiraled into one of the most humiliating evenings in Harry's public life. As he took the stage, voices pierced the air. Not of applause, but of boos, heckles, and even the chilling words, "You don't belong here." But before we continue, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for more updates. How did it come to this? Why would a prince, once adored for his charm and humanitarian spirit, be treated with such hostility in a country he used to call home? This article unpacks the drama in detail, mixing storytelling, cultural insight, and a dash of humor to keep you hooked for the next 7,000 words. By the end, you'll not only understand what happened at WellChild, but also why Prince Harry's public image has become one of the most polarizing subjects in modern royal history. A royal return gone wrong. Prince Harry has long been tied to WellChild. For years, he stood as its royal patron, giving emotional speeches, sharing warm moments with families, and embodying a sense of duty. His connection wasn't just ceremonial, it was personal. Yet, the landscape has changed. Harry's exit from senior royal life, his move to Montecito, and his relentless criticism of the monarchy in interviews, memoirs, and Netflix documentaries have divided public opinion sharply. So, when news broke that Harry would appear at the awards, many expected applause. Instead, he was met with jeers. Why? The answer lies in how much the public feels he has turned his back on the UK. The once beloved spare has become, in some eyes, the outsider. But here's the twist: heckling royals isn't common. For the public to break that unwritten rule, something deeper must be brewing. The moment of the booing. Let's set the scene. Harry walked onto the stage, holding his notes, prepared to deliver an emotional speech. But before his words could fill the room, murmurs rose. Then louder. Boos echoed from different corners, joined by shouts like, "We don't want you here," and "Traitor." Imagine the tension. The WellChild staff tried to quiet the disruption. Security shifted uneasily. Cameras panned, catching the stunned look on Harry's face. This wasn't just a couple of hecklers. It was a chorus of disapproval. And here's where it gets human. Harry paused. His eyes flickered with something between shock and sadness. He tried to push through, continuing his speech, but the damage was done. That moment wasn't just captured in headlines. It was etched into the collective memory of a watching world. From hero to villain. How did we get here? Just a decade ago, Harry was the cheeky, fun-loving prince. The one who walked behind Princess Diana's coffin as a boy and grew into a soldier fighting on the front lines in Afghanistan. The same Harry who founded the Invictus Games, bringing hope and healing to veterans worldwide. He was relatable, funny, and human. So what changed? The royal rift, stepping back from royal duties, dubbed Megxit, left the public divided. Was it brave independence or betrayal? Tell-all interviews. From Oprah to Netflix, Harry painted the royal family as cold, distant, and even toxic. Supporters applauded his honesty, while critics accused him of cashing in on his grievances. The memoir Spare. His book revealed private family details, from fights with William to emotional scars from his upbringing. For many Brits, it was too much information. So, when Harry returned to a UK stage, the tension was inevitable. The boos weren't just about WellChild. They were years of frustration, disappointment, and unresolved anger boiling over. Why the booing matters. You might think, okay, people boo celebrities all the time. What's the big deal? True. But when it happens to a royal, especially in Britain, it's seismic. Royals thrive on public approval. Applause isn't just clapping, it's validation of their role, their existence, their duty. For Harry to be booed so publicly sends a message. Some in the UK no longer see him as one of us. That's more than embarrassing. It's symbolic of a cultural shift. The prince who once embodied Diana's legacy now faces rejection from the very people who once loved him. Humor in the drama. let's be honest. There's also an awkward humor to the situation. Royals are supposed to glide through events with poise. They smile, they wave, they deliver speeches with practiced charm. But when boos interrupt, the facade cracks. Imagine being Harry in that moment. Thanks for that warm welcome? Oh wait. If it weren't tragic, it would almost be sitcom material. Yet, the laughter hides a deeper truth. The monarchy's relationship with the public isn't as stable as Buckingham Palace would like you to think. The role of Meghan Markle. No discussion of Harry is complete without mentioning Meghan. To supporters, she's the unfairly maligned Duchess who endured racism, sexism, and relentless media attacks. To critics, she's the Hollywood actress who stole Harry away from his family and heritage. At the WellChild event, Meghan wasn't physically present. But make no mistake, her shadow lingered. Many of the boos weren't just for Harry, but for the choices he's made since marrying Meghan. Fair? Not really. But perception is everything in the royal game. Media frenzy, headlines, and hashtags. Within minutes, the booing incident trended worldwide. Headlines screamed, "Prince Harry humiliated at WellChild Awards. Crowd heckles Duke of Sussex. You don't belong here." Royal return ends in disaster. On social media, hashtags like #HarryBooed, #WellChildDrama, and #YouDon'tBelongHere exploded. Memes surfaced, some sympathetic, others merciless. In today's world, a few seconds of public rejection can echo louder than years of charitable work. What this means for the future. Here's the million-dollar question. Does this mark the end of Harry's relevance in the UK? Or is it just a bump in the road? Some argue that Harry has chosen his path in America, and returning to the UK will only deepen the wounds. Others believe time heals, and that one day he'll be welcomed back with open arms. But after being booed at an event celebrating sick children, a space that should have been his safe haven, the road to redemption looks steeper than ever. Actionable takeaways for readers. Now let's pull this back to us because every scandal offers a lesson. Reputation is fragile. Years of goodwill can be undone by a few decisions. Protect your credibility like a crown jewel. Criticism is inevitable. Even princes get booed. What matters is how you respond. Home matters. No matter how far you go, your roots will always call you back, for better or worse. Curiosity keeps us hooked. Here's what lingers. Will Harry try to win back British hearts? Will Meghan ever stand beside him at a UK event again? Or has the bridge been burned beyond repair? The only certainty, the story is far from over, and the next chapter will be just as dramatic. Conclusion. A call to action. The WellChild Awards should have been a night of inspiration. Instead, it turned into a symbol of the fractured relationship between Prince Harry and the UK. The boos weren't just noise, they were history in the making. But what do you think? Was the crowd too harsh? Or did Harry's choices make this inevitable? Share your thoughts below. Debate, agree, disagree. But most importantly, stay curious. Because in the world of royalty, today's boos could become tomorrow's applause. And you don't want to miss how this royal roller coaster unfolds. The moment that shocked the UK. It was supposed to be an evening filled with heart, courage, and compassion. The WellChild Awards in the United Kingdom, a celebration of young people who battle serious illnesses with unimaginable strength, has always been one of the most uplifting events on the royal calendar. For years, Prince Harry was not just a guest but the star, applauded for his dedication, his warmth, and his ability to connect with children and their families. But this year, something went wrong. As Prince Harry stepped up to the microphone, holding his prepared speech with the familiar mix of nervousness and confidence, the atmosphere shifted. Instead of the usual cheer, murmurs swelled into audible disapproval. Then came the boos. A voice shouted, "You don't belong here." Another added, "Traitor." The room froze. Cameras captured every angle. What was meant to be an inspiring night for children and families suddenly turned into one of the most humiliating public moments of Harry's life. How did it come to this? Why would a prince once adored for his humor, bravery, and charitable spirit be treated with such hostility in the country he once called home? To answer these questions, we have to dig deeper, not just into the WellChild event, but into Harry's evolving relationship with the United Kingdom, the monarchy, and the British public. Prince Harry and WellChild, a once unshakable bond. Before the boos, before the controversies, Prince Harry's bond with WellChild was undeniable. As its royal patron, he wasn't just a ceremonial figurehead. He often sat on the floor with sick children, cracked jokes with worried parents, and shared heartfelt words that came from genuine compassion. For Harry, this wasn't about protocol. His connection was deeply personal, rooted in his memory of Princess Diana. Diana was known as the people's princess for her ability to connect with the vulnerable and marginalized. Harry, by championing WellChild, was carrying that torch. For years, the public applauded him for it. His speeches often went viral, not because of royal grandeur, but because they sounded real. He cried with families. He laughed with children. He hugged instead of waved. But then came Megxit, and with it, the cracks in his relationship with the UK began to widen. From hero to outsider, the path to public rejection. To understand why boos greeted Harry at WellChild, we need to revisit the events that changed everything. 1. The royal exit. In January 2020, Harry and Meghan Markle shocked the world by announcing they would step back from their royal duties. What followed was chaos. Negotiations with Buckingham Palace, angry headlines, and a divided public. Some admired their bravery, others accused them of abandoning duty. 2. The Oprah interview. If the royal exit was a fracture, the Oprah interview was a landslide. Harry and Meghan accused the royal institution of neglect, racism, and cruelty. Millions watched and opinions hardened. Supporters saw Harry as a whistleblower. Critics saw betrayal. 3. Netflix and Spare. Harry's memoir, Spare, and his Netflix docuseries further inflamed tensions. Private details about family fights, childhood trauma, and even military missions left many Brits feeling he had gone too far. To them, Harry wasn't just stepping away, he was cashing in on grievances. 4. The American shift. Relocating to Montecito, California, Harry built a new identity as a philanthropist, speaker, and media figure. But in Britain, this made him look distant, almost foreign. His accent softened, his suits swapped for casual shirts, his image shifted from royal duty to Hollywood dealmaker. So, when Harry returned to the UK for the WellChild Awards, the crowd wasn't just reacting to him. They were reacting to years of pent-up frustration, disappointment, and what they perceived as betrayal. The scene at the WellChild Awards. A speech interrupted. Imagine the tension in that room. Harry takes the stage, his voice steady at first. He begins thanking the families, the organizers, and the children who inspire so many. But then it happens. A murmur. Cough that isn't just a cough. Then clear as day boos. "You don't belong here," someone shouts. The air changes. Parents shift uncomfortably. Security moves closer. Harry freezes for a second, visibly shaken. His eyes flicker. Hurt, confusion, maybe even anger, but he keeps going. He presses on with his speech, determined not to falter. But the damage is done. The headlines write themselves. The images and clips circulate online. The narrative spreads. Prince Harry booed, humiliated, heckled in his own country. For a man whose entire public identity was built on duty and connection, the sting must have been unbearable. Why booing a royal is so rare and so symbolic. The British have a long tradition of stiff upper lips. Even when royals are unpopular, they're rarely booed to their faces.